Yeah.
I was like, man, you do that, you're done.
Yeah.
My hands are wiped. Never again.
All right, everybody. This is we are live, and this is Kenoshi Abominito here with another episode of Project Console, episode 8. A busted banana out of 10. And
Sorry,
before we get started, my panelists like to introduce themselves. Joel, would you like to start us off?
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen of all ages, to Project Console. I'm Joel Eli Moonstar. And Battlefield? What the holy F?
This was the Red Fox on Friday BS Busters, and I don't think we should call it Battlefield anymore. We should call it Battle Fungus, because anyone who's ever lived in a neighborhood where people's dogs would go potty and they wouldn't clean up after them knows that after a while that stuff grows mushrooms. So from now on, Battlefield should be called Battle Fungus 2042.
And this is Kenoshi Abominito. But before we get into that that busted pile of trash, there's a few other topics I'd like to go for first. So,
What's on the menu?
The first topic of the night is Xbox head Phill Spencer calls for legal emulation of older games. Here's the quote from I forgot where I got this article, but yeah, here's a quote from an article. Speaking to Axios, Spencer said that the game industry should prioritize the preservation of older video games, highlighting that film, TV, and music industries already preserve older content. Spencer said there's positive reasons for gaming to want to follow. What do you guys think?
For me, and this is probably one of those few times I would actually be bending myself a little, I'd say that's a bit of a gray area, but I also would agree.
I don't really see it as a gray area, since
I'd say gray area because I'm not sure about how some of the emulators might turn out to be, and well, if those emulators don't turn out well enough, it might be best to go with the real deal than to get the emulation. You can understand that, right?
Well, I mean, if here's the thing, right? So when the Microsoft started their backwards compatibility campaign for the Xbox One and even the Series X, they actually went in and made those games better than what they were on their original hardware. So, for example, Red Dead Redemption ran at a higher resolution and frame rate, and there are a few other games that also ran at a higher resolution and frame rate. And I think there are certain titles that even added effects, visual effects that weren't even present on the original version.
Hardware.
So it's really up to the developers and what they want to do with the what how they want to preserve their games. Another example is when Nintendo, when they cared more about their virtual console, they they like Super Mario RPG, they cleaned up certain effects like the fire effects when the fire goes across the screen. So yeah, I definitely see it as a positive if companies are willing to create emulators or have their games run in a separate some kind of separate emulator container, um, rather
I
than maybe creating it rather than creating an emulator and make their games look and run better. I'm definitely not against it.
I I I I think that the game should be available. I think that they should just let you. I think they should make ROMs available. ROMs are ISOs, and you should be able to buy those. I don't think they should be able to charge $60 for them or 50, but a fair price, and then you can play them on any emulator you want. Because unfortunately, I hate to break this to a lot of people who are like anti-emulation and all this stuff, but
Here it comes.
a lot of the emulators that run on these consoles where they're emulating a game, except for Microsoft. Microsoft's emulation is actually pretty good, but Sony's emulation of their PS2, PS1 games, it's not that good. Nintendo had really good emulation for their games during the 7th gen and 8th gen, but some of their games don't run that well in the 9th gen either. And just, I mean, this isn't just a Nintendo thing. Like the Cotton remaster, which is like Cotton was a cute 'em up shooter
Yeah.
back in the day. The emulation of that game on consoles, and I mean any console, the Switch, the PlayStation, the PC, it's terrible. So, I mean, what I'm saying is that like people should be able to use whatever emulator that you want. There should be a legal way for you to download a ROM and play it any way you want to.
Yeah,
Like
because
you should be able to just,
a lot of these open source emulators are better and seem in some ways a bit more stable. Like
well, I mean, when someone's been working on something for a decade versus something that was made in 2 years,
The proof is obvious.
I mean,
yeah.
you'd figure these companies would know their hardware like the back of their hand, but then again, I think the Cotton game that was made by it was made by a different company. It wasn't. I mean, obviously Sega published it, but it was done through a different. It was licensed out, so that
Yeah, yeah.
and
But
it
I'm
was
just saying,
and it was the
there's lots.
Saturn.
Yeah, but there's lots of games that have had like okay, the Castlevania console collection that Konami re-released. Those games run terribly, and I have it on PC. Like I've played Super Castlevania through on the Wii, the Wii U, the original hardware, and the Castlevania collection. And let me tell you something. The emulation on the Castlevania collection, there's stutters. It's not solid. There's frame rate issues. Like there are jumps that I could make on the other three versions of that game.
They're impossible on one version.
Well, not impossible. It's just the timing is off, and it's the emulation isn't very good. So what I'm saying is, I agree that emulation needs to be made legal, but I also think that not the emulation itself, because emulation actually is legal. You can download an emulator, no problem. The issue is in the ROMs or the ISOs or the IPs. I think I'm just, and this is just me. I think that you should be able, like these companies who, like a lot of these companies are doing jack squat with these old games.
No,
Like they're doing nothing with them. So why are you just sitting on just something you're doing nothing with?
yeah,
It should be made
exactly.
available so people like I'd buy a ISO of Breath of Fire 3 I'd buy Breath of Fire 1 and 2, for like, $2 or $3 for those games, because they aren't worth 10, but 2 or 3, maybe even 5 a pop. Yeah, I'd pay that to play those games again.
Yeah.
But don't force me to play them with a really bad emulator, because that's just not cool. that's that's like someone saying, hey, we gave you a gourmet meal, but you're gonna have to eat it on a plate that's not been cleaned and it's dirty. It's like, I don't want to do that. Come
I mean,
on.
I didn't see Microsoft and Sony, and of course, even um, possibly Sega, because I believe they actually have their own in-house emulator that you can download, and selling ROMs. But I don't really see Nintendo doing that, just or at least not for a while, because they want everybody to go on their hardware to play all their major titles.
Yeah, but they already had that. They already had people buying these games with the Virtual Console.
Yeah.
It's like they want to step backwards with with Nintendo Online, with the library, but I mean, I'm just saying that's my own personal opinion. I know some people are gonna disagree with me, and I'm okay with that. I'm not gonna have an apoplexy because people disagree with me. But just for me personally, I just think that like, I'm not one of those people. Like, I know some people are like, emulation is always bad. Well, actually, emulation isn't illegal. Like,
I was saying that's the reason why I said I'm a bit gray on that, because, well, certain things are legal and certain things are illegal.
No, emulation in any of its forms is not illegal, especially if you are reverse engineering the source code, or the source code is public, is public domain or something like that. Now, emulation gets illegal if you're basically taking if you're taking proprietary technology, like emulating something that's commercially viable. Like those people who are emulating the Switch, and the Switch isn't even done yet, that's illegal because it's a commercial product. But if you want to emulate a Wii U, go ahead. I mean, I don't know why you would, but you could.
Yeah.
So it just basically, like, but I mean, for me, when someone says emulation, I'm saying, okay, like, I don't think a modern console. I'm thinking like, okay, this is for stuff that there isn't a convenient way for you to play it. Like, there isn't a convenient way for Joe Blow average consumer to play N64 games these days. You just, like, you got two choices. You can either go and buy an N64 for like $200, $300 and get a few games. Good luck with that. Or you can emulate. That's all you can do.
Yeah.
And like, a lot of the emulators aren't very good. I mean, as a matter of fact, they stink.
Oh yeah.
N64 emulation is still not like great these days.
It's not as good as it could be.
Like, there's, like, for me, if someone says, hey, how can you tell if an N64 emulator is good? See how well it can emulate Gauntlet Legends for the N64.
Yeah.
Because if it can't emulate that game well, that is not a great emulator.
Yeah. I know Project 64 is one of the big go-to N64 emulators.
Yeah. I mean, projects, like, you'll find a lot of N64 emulators that can play like the major games, like your Legend of Zelda's, close. Mario 64, close. Banjo-Kazooie. But for games that are like heavily coded and optimized for the N64, they don't run that well.
Like Resident Evil 2 and Gauntlet Legends.
Yeah, Gauntlet. Well, I never played Resident Evil 2 on an emulator, but I know Gauntlet Legends. That game runs terribly
Yeah.
on almost every emulator I've tried it on. And I have the original game for my N64, so I know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So, and the thing is, no one has ever, because there's like major rights issues with Gauntlet Legends, it hasn't been re-released. So you're kind of like between a rock and a hard place if you want to play that game. And there's some legitimately good games on the N64 that you just can't play under certain circumstances, and that's not cool. Because I'm all about opening access to games. It's like music, right? Like streaming. Streaming made it so that you could listen to music you probably never listened to because it was convenient and easy to listen
To
to.
work with.
Well, to listen to. It was there.
Yeah.
And I mean, I think that's a good thing. I think opening up gaming so that more people can have like a better awareness of what's going on, I think that's a good thing. I know some people are going to be like, well, insert reason here why that's not a big thing, but
I I I say it's the. I usually would say it depends on what you're working on with emulation, but I could at least agree with you on that. On what you're saying with the older systems definitely need emulation.
just there's plus there's games like there are like 100, there are like 200, well no, there's like 200 Super Famicom games that never came to America. Some of which are really good and don't require a huge knowledge of Japanese that you can't play unless you emulate it.
And
Yeah.
and I'm gonna be kissing the movie files orbs for a moment, but in a sense, I could at least agree that we at least need some kind of record of sorts to keep all the games that maybe lost to time, unlike what
For
happened.
game preservation.
Yeah, because
Yeah,
if
that's
anything, I
true.
don't want to end up. Because much as I like to say that your mileage may vary on some things do need to be kept in history for records. Otherwise, we might have our games end up like if I got it right, the lost time age of the 1900s, I think, to 1970s.
All those movies that we'll never get to see. Well, I mean, it's just sad. Like, like with like let's say with Nintendo, there's all of these games that were released
For NES.
for the Satellaview, and those games are like
All of
you're
you.
never going to be able to play those games.
Oh,
Same thing with Sega with the Sega Channel. There's some legitimately good exclusive games that were never going to be released, and the
Okay,
only way
I'll
you can
try
play
to.
them is with emulation.
how many years did it take for the movie industry to kind of get on board with preservation? How long did that take? Because I know, because there was for a while where they didn't really think about preserving movies that much.
Well, I mean, it was always kind of there, but the problem was, like some of the early stuff, it wasn't well stored because it was a new medium, and no one had any concept that the cellophane warped. Every time you watch a reel, it's degrading. If it's not properly stored, it degrades. Now you can restore um, degraded film, but that takes time, money, and just some people don't want to do it. It's just, much
And if
like
I remember
anything
right,
else.
a certain event really cut that number of movies into nearly a tenth.
Well, I mean, just a lot of original cuts of certain films just are gone. World War One happened. World War Two happened. Like a lot of stuff was burned or lost. The good thing is that every few years, every like 10 years or so, you find some repository of old movies someplace. Like when the Nazis came to power in Germany, like a lot of the experimental film done by the burgeoning German filmmakers who, like a lot of filmmakers were liberal compared to the fascist regime that came in. Their work was burned, but some people hid their stuff away. So it was discovered recently, and a lot of it was restored. So you can see like the first Frankenstein. Which was done, like the first Frankenstein was done by in Germany.
Yeah.
And that's amazing. Like that knowledge, that cool stuff is, like I like stuff like that.
Yeah, even even though I'm the one for your mileage may vary thing, because not everything is able to be restored or should be restored for sane reasons. I can at least understand where we're keeping records of some of this stuff and making it available for the people is more reasonable.
I got to disagree with you on that one, Joel. Even stuff that isn't necessarily kosher needs to be kept for preservation reasons because knowledge needs to be preserved, even if it's something that people like like the Nazis, terrible people, Hitler, terrible person. But guess what? I've read Mein Kampf. It's a terrible book. It's boring.
Yeah.
But I've read it. It's like I've seen the reels of the Hitler propaganda, and all that type of stuff. So I mean, it's my point is this. I feel the same way about books. Like, I don't think people should burn books, even books that have questionable material.
Like, yeah, bad ideas should be preserved so people aren't, as a reminder of maybe we shouldn't.
This is a bad idea.
This
Yeah.
is a bad idea. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could hear what you're saying. It's just that you can understand the reason why I'm a little iffy about that part.
Oh, I understand that, but it's like when people, because I've had this discussion with when I was getting my sociology major through, and they were like, well, we should get rid of like, why they were like, well, seeing the depravity of certain human beings, how can you be anti-death penalty? I'm like, because I mean, yes, there are people who is like, this person is a psychopath and they need to be put away. But what about the myriads of people who've been on death row and would have died, and it turns out, oh no, they were actually innocent. So you had state-sanctioned executions of innocent people.
Yeah, as I said, some of these topics or targets can be a little dicey, which is why I would say not to preserve everything, but I can at least see why some people would preserve those unsavory things.
Well, I mean, I'm not saying that you should only preserve unsavory things, but knowledge within itself should be preserved just for the sake of knowledge.
Understanding what you're getting into or what happened.
Well, just for knowledge's sake. Like, for example, the Library of Alexandria. To me, when I read about that in the history books, I'm like, that's a damn tragedy, because this was a huge repository of ancient books that there are no copies of. So all this knowledge was just destroyed by the Romans.
Yeah.
And that, to me, that's a tragedy. That should be a war crime.
Yeah, that is certainly a tragedy.
And I feel the same way. I feel that same way when it comes to, like, all types of knowledge. Not just like biblical, libraries and books, but movies, games. Like, losing knowledge, so that future generations can't look at it and say, because the thing is, a lot of people think a lot of ideas are new, but they aren't. There's very few human ideas that are new that no one thought of or had any clue about.
Yeah, they had razors way back in ancient times.
Yeah. So, like, people need to, and for me, like, that constant, that having access to that knowledge is a good thing. Like for me, when I was a kid, the library was the sacred place where all this knowledge was held, and they weren't hiding it from you. You could go and find it.
Yeah.
That was amazing.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Well, is there anything else?
No, I'm pro emulation.
Yeah.
I'm with Phill Spencer. Although I'm not one of those people who think that it, like the reason Phill Spencer says emulation should be legal is for corporate and commercial reasons. I don't think it should be commercialized all that much because
That I can fully agree with.
Yeah.
because you're getting in the way of people enjoying it. Because, like I said, not everyone has the money to spend. You know, because some of the prices of some of these games being re-released, like Final Fantasy V remasters, like $24.
Yeah, it's. I know they redid the pixel art and whatnot, but still, it's too much. It's too much freaking money.
Yeah, I'm like 24, 10, yes, 24, even 15, okay, 24. Come on, man.
Yeah, that is crazy. But
But Square Enix always overprices their Final Fantasy games. They're always overpriced for re-releases.
yeah, gotta make his money off of your childhood as much as they can. But
Nostalgia.
yeah, hell of a drug. WB appears to be teasing its Smash Brothers multiverse, one of the worst kept secrets ever. Yeah, I'm gonna say something controversial about this game. I don't like the way it looks. I think it looks terrible.
Tony, the
And,
game director and co-founder
Wait a
here
second.
at Player First Game.
You're talking about the next Smash contender.
Yeah, the Smash Brother clone.
Yeah, I do not. I have you guys seen the trailer for this game?
I didn't look at
Interesting.
I didn't look at the trailer. I saw the little stills and a little gameplay footage of the alpha build, and I gotta disagree with you. I actually like it.
I actually like the way it looks.
Yeah, like because the thing is, like they had to find an art style where all those different characters from different universes could kind of fit fighting against each other. And just the concept of being able to play as Batman and smack the ever loving you know what out of other WB characters. Like we can finally have Superman just wreck the ever loving daylights out of Harry Potter. Like
Yeah,
I mean,
man, I
anything
get
that
it.
lets me beat up Harry Potter with Superman or Batman, I can't get angry about it. I can't. I'm like, you know what? Yes.
Let me send that wand up that ever powerful child's rear end.
Ultra Instinct Shaggy beating up Superman, beating up Batman, world's greatest detective. Like, really? I mean, that is great. That is great. I love stuff like that. Like I like the concept. Smash Brothers games that like Smash Brothers knockoffs that actually say, okay, look, we know this is ridiculous. Let's embrace the insanity. Like I get angry when people take Smash Brothers way too seriously and get way too involved in it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I mean I do too. But I mean I think it could, like I'm looking at it right now. The environments look pretty decent. I'll give this game a few points. They have voice actors. They're using the original, or at least the newer voice actors, because a lot of the older voice actors for some of the more classic cartoons are dead. So
yeah,
they're
Casey
using
Kasem has been dead.
So yeah, they're using a lot of the original voice actors. Kevin Conroy is obviously doing Batman.
Yeah.
So and they have the one thing that Smash does not have: dedicated servers.
Yeah.
So I mean, yeah, I mean those are two really good things. And
yeah. I'm upset about the free to play though. That's my only.
I wish they
That's
just.
that's a that's a trap card that I know is just waiting to be set off the
You
moment
know,
somebody steps into it.
I mean, I get it. I
yeah.
mean, most
I would
people are
rather
gonna
them just
play like
charge.
two or three, two or three fighters, but yeah, I'd rather them charge like 30, 40, 50, $60 for the
Yeah.
entire package and maybe release some
DLC.
Yeah.
DLC down the road. Yeah.
Like I would rather them charge like $40 or $50 and then say, okay, look, it's $40 or $50 for the base game. You get like we're gonna unlock like as the weeks go by, new characters will be added as free DLC, and then after like let's say 4 or 5, then after those 4 or 5 are announced, like they're like, okay, well from here we have a season pass or something. I'm cool with that, but the fact that they take their netcode seriously and aren't just using the cheapest netcode available, and put some money behind the voices and stuff. Because I mean, like I have Nickelodeon All Stars, and the game is solid. The problem is that whoever was behind funding, whoever published that game, went really cheap, so it has no voice actor. So you have Nigel Thornberry. He's like, you don't have a voice actor doing a Tim Curry impression, smashing. It's like, how are you gonna have SpongeBob with that stupid annoying laugh he has?
Oh.
Now, if you find that laugh annoying, then you're gonna be fine with Nickelodeon All Stars because, well,
No, it's voice acting.
yeah, you don't have to listen to that. If I had to listen to that for a long time, I'd be angry too. So I can get where people are like, okay.
Yeah, because some characters, they are best seen and not heard at all.
But I mean, like, and plus Warner Brothers does have a huge staple of
Characters to work with.
yeah, so it's like, and like competition is good. If this comes out and does well, maybe Nintendo's next Smash Brothers will actually have a real single player again, and not whatever they've had for the last 2 games. The troll single players, or maybe someone else will take over and they'll add their own spin to it. I don't know. At this point, like it's just you need competition.
Yeah.
Okay. It's like it's like when Street Fighter 2 came out and then all this other stuff came out to compete with it, some of which was not good, but then you got Fatal Fury, so that's good.
Yeah,
You need competition.
I'm
That's
not
all
against.
I'm saying.
I'm not against. I'm not against Smash clones. I think there should be more of them. Be kind of nice. I was thinking about this earlier, like a lighthearted, maybe Smash clone with all the different characters from various different fighting games. Like I know Smash was designed for characters, or that idea was designed for characters that aren't particularly in fighting games, but it'd be kind of nice to see a massive crossover. The problem would be is trying to get those companies to work together. But
man, I would love to see Street Fighter versus Mortal Kombat.
I've been wanting to see that forever.
That would be awesome. Forget Tekken Cross Street Fighter. I want to see Mortal Kombat versus Street Fighter guest starring Killer Instinct.
Oh yeah, that'd be pretty cool.
Now that would be
cool. A fight.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I'd love that, because all those games like Killer Instinct. The only reason Killer Instinct exists is because Mortal Kombat existed, and Nintendo was like,
Mortal Kombat existed is because of Street Fighter, of course.
Yeah, Mortal Kombat exists because of Street Fighter. So why not have all of them fight against each other? Now, Killer Instinct, is it at the same level of a Mortal Kombat or
Street Fighter
But I still would like to see it. They both have cheap bosses who are like really,
I was
really
gonna say cheap if
unnecessary
if
and
you know Geese,
overpowered.
I was gonna say if you know Geese Howard, then yeah, that's cheap.
Let me ask you something. Do any of the bosses in like does Geese Howard heal in the middle of a fight? Can he break out of any combo and heal after knocking you down? Because that was idle in Killer Instinct.
Yeah.
Like he
Good
had
point.
like he had no lower block or upper block. Like his upper and lower block was the same thing, and he could block everything.
That's kind of how Gil was in Street Fighter 3.
Yeah,
He could heal himself in the middle of the fight.
yeah.
Actually,
So
if he doesn't burn a meter, he's gonna heal.
Yeah.
So that's all I'm saying is like I would love to see more crossovers. Like it's not cool. It's like it's not good that Mario is really the only 3D platformer. There needs to be other 3D platformers.
I was gonna say that usually you'd say that you'd want good competition for certain things. That I still hold true to that myself, but seeing any kind of competition would actually be at least something to watch.
I mean, I've heard
At
good
least-
things about A Hat in Time, but I don't think that's as, widely known as
Yeah.
other stuff.
Like recently I heard that Playtonic, due to Tencent giving them some money, that they are going to they're going to work on a sequel to Ukulele. Now, I know a lot of people didn't like the first Ukulele, and that's your opinion. I personally enjoyed it, but I know
was
not
gonna
everyone.
say, the impossible layer was probably a real kick in the pants that they needed.
Well, I mean, I understand that. I'm just simply saying I know a lot of people didn't like that, but the fact that someone is trying to make a 3D open world collectathon it's good. You need competition. You need variety. I mean, imagine if you went to a store and every product was the store brand. Like, there's no Oreo, there's nothing else, just the same store brand. Like,
That
you
I
would be
can
like,
agree on. It's just that if anything,
you need
it's been
variety.
a long time since we've seen the collectathon game, and well, I say
Well,
ukulele is kind of a low bar, but it's a bar.
yeah, but I mean, let's look at this objectively, right? Like, the best time for 3D collectathons was during the 5th gen. Why? Because there was variety. Like, if you didn't like Super Mario 64, you had Banjo Kazooie, you had Banjo Tooie, you had Conker's Bad Fur Day, you had Jet Force Gemini, and you had Gex 3. Like, there was variety, and variety is good.
Yeah, it's just as I said that with what we got now, the bar is kind of low, but there's a bar.
I mean, all you have now, if someone says, hey, what's a great 3D collectathon? Most of the time, people are going to think, okay, Mario.
I was going to make the joke that there's crickets.
Aside from Mario, that's it. That's the only 3D.
I mean, yeah, Banjo Kazooie, but I mean that's how
that last Banjo Kazooie sucked. Okay, let's just skip it.
Yeah, I mean, of course it was terrible, but I'm just saying that I mean, really the only games that you can reference, platformer wise, are is Mario or older stuff from the 5th, 6th, and 7th gen.
I mean, we have an entire genre where we have nothing but where the only company carrying that franchise really as a mainline thing is Nintendo. Now, look, and I'm not saying okay, let's keep it real, okay? Like, Nintendo's quality is even when Nintendo's quality kind of goes down for Nintendo, it's still pretty high. Like, I don't personally think Mario Odyssey is as good as Mario Galaxy 1 or 2. But I mean, it's still not cool that there's only one store making one product for that. You need variety.
Yeah.
And the thing is like I said, you need, there's no variety in the, for certain things. There needs to be other people up there making this stuff. And like I like Nintendo, but I mean, man, I would love to be able to play something aside from a 3D Mario game every once in a while if I want a 3D collectathon fix.
Yeah.
Yeah, though, have fun with all those, I was about to say, birds that are flying away from the challenge.
That gets a AAA version. Like the thing is, we have like single A indies trying to make 3D collectathons, but they don't have the money to really put
Yeah,
the
they don't have the money
resources
to really
into it.
stand. I was gonna say they really don't have any coinage to stand toe to toe against the big guys.
Yeah, so I just want to see some competition. Like
And
the
and as I
reason.
said, the competition seems to be bird like.
I think
Well,
3D platform, like, I remember during the Wii and Wii U, during the Wii and Wii U ages, the whole debate about games being kiddie or not, or Nintendo games being kiddie or not. I thought of
Oh
a.
god.
I was actually thinking about this a few days. Like Mario, Zelda, games like that.
Those kind of reach all ages, if I got it right.
I wouldn't consider those games kiddie. I would consider them innocent. They're more. They're more captivating. The more captivate, the more innocent side of a side
The
of
gaming
us.
world.
I think that's a better term for those kind of games. But I digress. The thing about because people have this weird. Some people that don't really know anything about game development or know nothing think that, well, the reason Nintendo is good at making, say, a Mario game or even a 2D side scroller games is because they're really easy games to make. Because they don't, it's not like The Witcher where there's like thousands of different moving parts. But I don't think it's definitely not true because I remember hearing somebody talking about it was Grimpachi because he's been studying game development and he tried his hand at making a 2D platformer and it's not an easy feat, and I think creating a 3D platformer is even more difficult. I think there's a lot more variables that go into making a platformer than people
Give credit.
give credit or care to think about. I remember years ago hearing about how during the first Mario Brothers there was debate. There was debate on how high the jump should be, because that's really important. You gotta know how high the jump can be so you know how to set your platforms, and not to mention there are different kinds of jumps depending on how fast you're running, especially in Mario games and even other games. So and not to mention the whole light A press, long A press, and all sorts of weird intricate stuff that speedrunners get into when it comes with dealing with jumps. So
well, I mean, the same aspects that affect a good 2D platformer affect a 3D platformer, but you add a third dimension. So the physics have to be good.
yeah,
Which means running and jumping has to feel good. It has to be intuitive, but not so intuitive that it's brain dead. The basic skills that you start out with have to be able to be built upon and strung together to lead to moderate and advanced skills. So, I mean, it's not easy, but like I said, I mean, I'm not taking anything away from Nintendo, but still, there needs to be competition. It's like what made gaming great back in the day. Like everyone's like, well, gaming has never been better in some ways in the modern age, but it's also not great in some ways because entire genres have been either greatly diminished or just gone.
Oh, I love to see more platformers. I thought the Impossible Layer, Ukulele and Impossible Layer was really good. I thought it was slightly better than the new Donkey Kong games.
I
So,
agree. The Impossible Layer felt like a new Donkey Kong game, like a true Donkey Kong game. Not surprising because a lot of the people working over there at that place are a lot of the people who used to work at Rare and made the games we love.
yeah.
And you know, I've said this in the past. I used to say it in the past. Well, retro is the new Rare. I take that back. Retro is not the new Rare. Okay, I've played a ton of Rare games. I've played a ton of retro games. Retro is retro. Rare is rare. And I hate to say this, but Rare during their golden age, retro has not come close to touching Rare in their golden age. They haven't. It's not gonna happen. It hasn't happened. Okay, I love the Metroid Prime trilogy. One of my favorite trilogies of all time. Is it on the same level as Donkey Kong Country 1, 2, and 3? No.
Joel, wake up!
I'm still here.
We need to put on Teddy Pendergrass. Wake up, everybody, no more sleeping in bed. No,
I
but
was actually
seriously though.
listening to you guys.
Yeah. Look, I would love to see a Smash clone. I would love to see. I just want to see more variety in gaming because right now gaming is stagnating because everyone keeps on chasing the same formula. Now it's free to play with microtransactions. I'm like, look, stop. Be unique and come up with your own thing, or do a riff on something that someone's already done.
Or do a parody.
Yeah, like
And
Conker's
this is
Bad
what
Fur Day.
Yeah, or dare I even say it, Clay Fighter 63 and a third. I actually missed that.
Yeah, I like Clay Fighters. You know, that's one of the most expensive games for the N64.
Which is kind of wild when you think about it.
And that's not even a good game. Like you have to get 63 and then third, the tournament edition, the championship edition, the final cut. But that's neither here nor there.
Isn't that game like move set wise completely busted? Like how you?
Oh yeah. All of the Clay Fighters are busted. Every Clay Fighter has 2 or 3 characters who are objectively like the best characters in the game, and if you memorize their moveset, they basically destroy everyone else. And I think in the first Clay Fighter, it's Bluesoid Goo.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, the Snowman and Helga, or was it the Blob? One of those two. Like they are. Once you memorize, they destroy everything. So I mean, I'm just saying, Clay Fighters. I love Clay Fighters, but you know,
Yeah.
variety is good. That's all I'm saying.
While we're still on the topic of fighting games and Smash, this was a title on Kotaku. Get ready to groan. And a twist: Nintendo actually is supporting Smash Brothers Melee now. This is from Nintendo. This is from Nintendo's Twitter. Confirm. Ready your A game? Super Smash Brothers competitions. We've partnered with Panda Global to launch the first officially licensed Super Smash Bros. Championship circuit in North America coming 2022. So this will involve Super Smash Bros. Ultimate and Super Smash Bros. Melee. Honestly,
no love for Brawl. I'm being facetious.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
I love Brawl. Brawl's like my favorite game. It's my favorite one in the series.
Yeah. So the thing about Melee, right? I don't hate that game. I just hate the culture that stems from that game.
Same.
And
the fanboys.
And I think
the hyper competitives.
I kind of wonder what the heck changed Nintendo's mind. I don't know if they were seeing all the money Capcom was making during those Capcom Cups or whatever, but
I don't think they make a lot of money
I
with
don't
those
know.
cups. It's a prestige thing. It's like this is showing how awesome your game is.
Yeah, yeah.
They're probably losing money, but it's a good goodwill towards your fandom.
I want.
Like I said, Nintendo shot themselves in the foot because why would you cancel? Why would you cancel a tournament where people are emulating a game that you haven't sold in 20 plus years? If you wanted to get a copy of Melee right now, you'd be hard pressed to get one legitimately.
I think they wanted to be in control. They want to be in control of how everything's set up, how the competitions are viewed and whatnot. Because there has been some pretty spicy stuff that come out of the FGC in the past couple of years pertaining
Then
to
that's what
certain
they should have
players.
said.
But
how they did it was not good.
yeah.
Like the optics of it was not good.
Yeah.
You know. If they had said, "Look, in light of these allegations, we cannot support this," that's all they had to say. And people would be like, "Okay, these allegations, okay, cool. They're covering their behinds." But when you're in the middle of a pandemic and people don't want to gather in huge places where can become a spreader event, so people are emulating it. Which here's the thing. Let me let you in a little secret. Even if you had, like, even when you have the there's a hack you can do for legitimate copies of Melee for GameCubes, where you can hook them up to a computer and basically create like a server to play the games legitimately with legitimate copies. I did it in college, but guess what? You're still using a form. You're still spoofing a server in order to do that. There's still some tomfoolery going on by Nintendo's reckoning. So I'm like, I don't know why you guys would do that. That was a self-inflicted gunshot wound. But that's just my opinion. I'm not a huge Melee fan. I'm not like in love with Melee.
Makes two of us.
Like I think Melee in a lot of ways was a step forward from
Phone 64?
From 64. I think in terms of gameplay, characters, in every way, shape, or form. But the problem with Melee is that it became too competitive.
Yeah.
Competitive is the understatement. Hyper competitive would be the better wording of sense.
No. The competitive people who take it like it's a serious fighting game are hyper competitive. But you could if you tried to play the original Smash Brothers competitively, good luck, because it's a joke game. It's a party game. It's like straight up just from the ground up a party game. But Melee is when it started to become more competitive, where weight classes mattered and how you basically played the game mattered. Like how you landed, the Akimis, where you could do, like, Akimis became easier to do, and knowing how to dodge and parry and like how to basically like take attacks with your shield so that enemies would get staggered. Like that started in Melee. So they added those features.
And and that it was also kind of jank, and they were able to kind of use that jank as a feature.
Yeah.
So, like L canceling?
Yeah, wave dash.
Wave dashing.
All I'm gonna say is this, but if when people say look, man, in college in high school, I had so much fun with Smash Brothers Melee. I'm not gonna lie. Melee is still, like, if you get a good game of Melee going, it's still fun.
Yeah, if you can find people who aren't
ultra competitive and take it way too seriously.
Yeah, Melee is a fun time for sure. You know.
So I'm not gonna poo-poo on it just because some people take it too seriously, but
Yeah.
you know, I mean, I'm just like, okay, like Nintendo wants to get. I mean, I'm glad they're getting on with it, but I mean, like, here's the thing, okay? The reason Nintendo really gets away with a lot of stuff is because their fans really love them. But it's really hard to love a company that does things to insult you as a fan. Like, if you're a Smash fan, it's like, okay, like, I understand you guys want to sell Ultimate, but why don't you show some love to Project M? Or, you know, the little Smash games, like, celebrate all things Smash. Don't just, why don't you have like a classics tournament where you have some oldsters come in there and play Smash Brothers 64?
Yeah, I've seen some because they've been adding some, and it's not just skins either. They've been adding some new characters to Project M. Yeah, it looks interesting. So I don't know. I'm not offended by it. Uh, I think it's cool that Nintendo is finally allowing people to allowing tournaments, but at the same time, I think it's pretty absurd how seriously people take Smash Brothers
Yeah,
sometimes. So
I mean,
I guess I
I
kind of
kind of
get it.
understand it. It's like, okay, like Smash Brothers, when you play seriously, is the closest you can get to just going up and beating the ever loving daylights out of someone who annoys you.
Yeah,
And you can do it. You can be totally aggressive with someone and just demolish them
yeah,
and be aggressive, but you didn't actually lay your
Or
finger on them.
you, or have some, or have some flavored taunts to entertain the masses,
Like,
like Steve making an F out of blocks.
I'll give you an example of what I mean. Okay, for example, when I was teaching, because I used to like, and during the summer, I would do summer school with like kids who had difficulty in math and stuff like that. And one day we had a game day towards the end where everyone had passed, everyone had done well. I was like, okay, we're gonna do game day. So I brought in Smash Brothers Brawl. And some of these kids were sweet kids. Some of these kids were annoying, and I wanted to smack them upside the head, but I didn't. But in Smash Brothers,
You let me guess.
oh man,
You probably teabagged them
oh
to add flavor into it.
I wrecked them. I wrecked them. I wrecked them with the three characters that I mained in Brawl: Link, Ganon, and Donkey Kong.
yeah.
I
You
just
made 3 heavyweights.
Well, no. Link is medium. Ganon's a heavyweight, and Donkey Kong is he's a heavyweight, but he moves like a medium weight because he's fast in Brawl. In Melee, he was faster than he was in 64, but he still wasn't like fast. Brawl, they made Donkey Kong fast as all get out. It's like, man, this character can move.
Yeah.
So yeah, but I
I
proceeded
looked at
to
you.
wreck them.
Yeah, I can understand that. It's just that hearing you, hey, you made 2 heavies. That's a little bit of a liability.
Really, because they play differently. Like Donkey Kong, if you try to play Donkey Kong like you play Ganondorf, you're gonna lose. Because even though they're both heavy, they play very differently. Like Donkey Kong is fast for a heavy, and because they made him faster, he's not the heaviest heavy. Like Bowser and Ganondorf are way heavier heavy. So like with Donkey Kong, like things that you could tank in Melee and 64, with Donkey Kong you have to learn how to dodge. Now once you get the dodge down, Donkey Kong can become a very dangerous threat if you main him.
Yeah, that's why I think Donkey Kong is oddly the lightest of the heavyweights.
Well, he's not the lightest of the heavyweights, but he is like, he is far more
One of the lighter
capable.
ones.
He's just very light on his feet, which is good for a heavy character. But anyway, as I was saying, yeah, Like, I mean, I get people wanting to play competitively, but you have to learn when to shut that off and do something else. And a lot of people can't do that when they play Melee or any type of competitive fighting game. People take that stuff way too seriously sometimes.
Yeah.
Like their life is on the line or there's money involved. And I'm like, your life isn't on the line and there's no money involved, so I don't know why you're acting like that.
Yeah, exactly.
I usually see it for money.
I'm like, who's
'Cause,
playing Smash Brothers for money though? That's stupid.
if you ever see Evo, let me know.
Yeah, but those people are making serious bank off of that. Like, I don't mean like serious bank. I mean like people who are playing it. Because I mean, let's keep it real. I mean, if you look at professional basketball players, they're playing a sport for money, but they're athletes, so it makes sense. Or people who play pool for money, they're athletes. It makes sense. Um, they're playing at a level that Joe Blow average person can't compete at. But like, if you're just like, sitting at your house and your friend comes in, you're like, I bet you 25 that you can't beat. I'm like, okay, that's too much. Don't do that. Don't be
That
that
I
guy.
can fully agree on.
Don't be that guy. Don't be that guy. Come on. But
All right. So we're still on the topic of fighting games. There was a game. I don't know if you guys got to see it, but it's called Project L. It's this League of Legends fighting game. It's being developed.
If I remember right, that seems to be more focused on the style of Marvel vs. Capcom too.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the characters. I think the characters more act as more of a assist. I think you can switch between them too,
Yeah,
but
you can. I
it looks
think.
pretty interesting. It looks like it was the art style looks like it was heavily inspired by something from Arc Systems. So,
Oh yeah.
well, if
I
they're ripping
mean,
off from Arc Systems, they're in good hands.
yeah, exactly. That's why
I mean,
I was looking
no,
at
go
it.
ahead.
I was looking at it, and it looks. Well, let me share the screen. Um, uh, it looks like because when I first saw it, I was like, man, this looks a little bit like Guilty Gear.
Yeah, the new 3D Guilty Gear.
Yeah,
I like
so
it.
yeah, I like
it it's a lot more. It's it's got a lot more of a better feel than what we saw earlier with the Warner Brothers battle game.
Yeah, but the Warner Brothers Battle game is a rip-off of Smash Brothers. Smash Brothers, you can't equate a Smash Brothers clone to a. This is like a Guilty Gear Marvel versus Capcom clone.
yeah,
Looks good though.
yeah. I'm happy to see League of Legends branch out into other stuff.
Yeah, I got
Maybe
that RPG for it. It's really good.
because maybe I'll actually care about it now because I just didn't really care too much. I've tried getting into the League of Legends games. I can't do it. Uh,
You might be better off trying something like Legends of Runeterra. It
there's
may
just
be
too
a
much there's just too much stuff to think about. Especially if you don't, you have to have a decent group of people to be able
Ease
to
you
get.
into it.
Yeah, if you
yeah,
don't have anybody, then you're just pretty much on your own.
Your SOL, son.
yeah, and don't be don't be surprised if you get get roasted in the comments section when you flub up on something on one of those games.
Well, like I said, I've been playing the Runeterra RPG that came out last week, and I've been having fun with it. So, and I'm not a Runeterra fan, so but the RPG is fun. I hope they make a sequel to it because I'm not gonna get into like any of those MOBA lane games. But I mean, if you do something that's interesting side story, I'm into it.
Yeah, yeah.
Like I was thinking to myself earlier today, I was like, you know what would get me back into Fire Emblem? is if Namco Bandai made like a Tales style game, but it was Fire Emblem.
You want something like a Fire Emblem platformer of
No,
sorts?
like a Tales, like like Tales of Symphonia,
Oh,
Tales of Fantasia, like a Tales game, but it's a Tales game, but it's branded with Fire Emblem. So like
yeah.
you have like the weapon
The fun,
triangle and
the
Fire
weird
Emblem
thing
type
that
stuff.
they tried to branch out in a different direction with Dynasty Warriors,
Yeah, I don't want that. I don't like Dynasty
and
Warriors though.
I can imagine how that went with some people.
Yeah, I'm not a Dynasty Warriors person.
Welcome to the club.
I insist that my games have more complexity than memorizing 3 or 4 button combinations that annihilate everything.
Yeah, junk food gaming. Because
I
people.
just, you know, but anyway,
Eh,
uh,
it's just well, they're doing they're also doing like a platformer too. So they're I know they have like this rhythm game. Uh, it seems like they're getting other like kind of licensing out their IP to other companies that
smart
create the
move.
genres that know what they're doing rather than you know trying to do it
Going wild.
rather than trying to do it themselves. And but
Don't you wish more companies did that though?
yeah, it'd be kind of nice.
Instead of just sitting on an IP. Like, wouldn't it be awesome uh, if Capcom just said, "Hey, we aren't doing anything with Breath of Fire. Hey, random RPG studio, you want to make a Breath of Fire RPG because we aren't doing anything with it? Sure." You know, Square Enix, we aren't doing anything with Lufia. Hey, you guys want to make a Lufia game?
yeah, yeah, exactly.
That's all good. You know, not just sitting on something and just letting it atrophy away
Yeah,
is a smart move.
yeah, yeah, exactly. But on to the meat of the show, and that is Battlefield.
BF.
Battlefield is busted. It is busted.
Let me guess. It's so busted that it makes um what what Warcraft Warcraft Reforged look good.
Look at this.
Did that person fly a
Oh.
hovercraft into a helicopter?
No, that was like a truck or something. That just
Well,
wasn't.
that's not. That doesn't look like a bug. That looks like a feature.
Oh
Get
man.
enough velocity on a ramp, you can fly into the sky.
Oh man. Oh,
This is bad. This is embarrassing. This is. And wasn't Dice working on this for the last like 4 years?
yeah, it's.
4 years, and this is what we get.
Oh
It
man.
obviously needed another year in the oven, didn't it?
Yeah, it sure
They
did.
should have. They should have put this off to next year.
Yeah.
Like, when will these
Well,
companies learn you can't keep on rushing stuff out the door for holiday season?
more like don't act like Sonic the Hedgehog in your game production.
I mean, how many look? This happened last year with Cyberpunk. How many games have to come out in order to reach for the holiday season before people realize that sometimes delaying a game is better than putting out something that is like this? Because if they don't
Or
fix this,
better,
this is going to become a big meme.
or better yet, and I bet you Red Fox is likely going to agree with me with this one. Put it out there in summer 2022 or spring 2022.
I mean,
So-
that's better than just putting it out at a certain time. You know?
So here are the missing features. Buckle up, kids. This is going to be a
This is
long
a
ride.
list. Oh,
No
boy.
single player story campaign mode.
Well, they already said
That's
they
a-
weren't going to have a single player for this game.
I was going to say, that's an instant red flag.
Yeah, they already said it was only going to be a multiplayer, no single player
no
for Battlefront.
no standard server browser, fewer standardized game modes, can't even play team deathmatch or smaller scale modes without relying on community servers. Really, no standard.
Yeah, they rushed this.
No standard hardcore mode. No persistent lobbies. Seriously, why do I have to matchmake after every round? Fewer in-game assignments. No class system.
Yeah,
Less
you have heroes.
less character customization options than BF5. No
Did I
profile.
hear some of that right? Because I had to do a double take when I heard no classes.
Yeah,
no
they
class system.
rushed this game because didn't Battlefield 5 didn't that game come out like 3 or 4 years ago? Like 4 years ago?
I think so.
And so they immediately, after they stopped supporting that, because I remember like people were mad because they stopped supporting Battlefield 5 early. And so this game has been in development for 3 years, basically. And I mean, it takes them 5 years to make a Battlefield game. How? Of course, there's features on here because they only had 3 years to make this game.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh yeah, November 9th, 2018. That's when Battlefield 5 came out. So they didn't really have a long time to get anything right. This game was pretty ambitious.
Yeah.
Let's see.
They pushed this game out like someone who ate some bad tacos and was running to the bathroom. Okay?
Yeah,
They they had to make it to that bathroom as quickly as humanly possible to take care of business.
Yeah,
Okay.
and we all know what happens when you have to take a 2 in Mach 10 speeds.
Suffice it to say, you know, this is a mess because they had to get it out. They were like, "Look, it gotta come out."
Yeah, and the list gets better. No profile progress state page and the menu. No battle log stats tracker for other players. No global leaderboards. No global leaderboards. No dog tags. They still sort of exist, I guess. No custom emblems. No cross game profile screen. BF4, HL1, and 5 were all linked by a menu if you own them originally. Was a neat feature. No spectator mode. No permanent community servers. Would be useful for clans and events. No central US servers. No test range. This one is sort of compensated for with single player servers versus bots. Let's see, fewer guns, even including the portal guns. BF4 still had more at launch. Fewer infantry gadgets. No manual leaning. No driving while swimming. No diving while swimming. No high wall vaulting. No crouch sprinting. No backwards prone.
What do they have?
No explosion knock. No rolling after falling from heights. Oh man, this list gets crazy longer. No ammo or health pickups off teammates. No scope zeroing. No tired reloads, pause reloads. No melee weapons choice. No thermal options. No indirect fire gadgets. Less anti-tank. This list goes forever and ever and on.
So suffice it to say, they're missing about 50% of the stuff that was in other games.
This game is beyond busted. It's beyond busted.
This is
Oh.
the kind of game that will revive Reforged and put it into the one section.
Well, I think it's clear that the reason this game came out in the state it's in is because, once again, like a certain other company, they put something out in order for the holiday season. Darn the consequences. Just, we're going to put it out there. People are going to buy it.
Oh, man.
And plus, Call of Duty, its competitor, is also not running very well either. So, they're both running like hot buttered butt cheeks.
Hot buttered trash dipped in a lot of panko and deep fried.
Yeah. Smothered in gravy.
You guys are getting detailed.
Oh, man.
Well, we're trying to show just how bad that. You can't even run them over. That's embarrassing.
Oh, man. Oh, where is DICE located? I forgot. What country?
I think they're in the U.S. Or maybe, no, Europe. Maybe.
No, I know they're a European country somewhere, but.
Probably France or the UK, someplace like that. I don't know. Germany.
I wouldn't be surprised. Boy.
But suffice it to say, but I don't think this is DICE's fault. This is EA basically not giving them the full time to make this game. They're like, you got to get it out.
Yeah.
And if your boss, like, this is why I keep on telling people this. Look, the games industry needs a union.
Well,
there needs to be a union. There needs to be a union so that the gamers, the developers can say, look, game is not ready. And if we put it out in the States, it's going to mess up our reputation. And in gaming, look, especially in video games, all you have if you're a developer is your reputation.
Yeah.
That's all you have.
This game, like we've said before, was a very ambitious game for what they wanted to do. Have as many people on the map as they can. Was 128 people playing at the same time with all this
chaos.
All this chaos. And
look, there is chaos. They got. Look, that's not a bug. That's a feature. If the chaos is meant to be there, but clearly they didn't have the time to get this done.
What is it? Past couple of years, we had, some of the biggest releases just coming out, just absolutely busted. Like, we had Cyberpunk come out, and then this year we have Battlefield 2042, and then we have the GTA Trilogy.
Yes.
What's going on?
But to be fair, this is a new game, and Cyberpunk 27 was a new game. I don't know how you mess up a remaster of 3 20-year-old games. I don't know how you messed that up, but they did.
Yeah. Yeah. The GTA Trilogy is still, honestly, that's still worse. Like, because you already had the game. You already had it. It's like, kind of like when you make when you have like a poorly adaptation of a book, and that structure just disappeared, just vanished.
Like, you had the source material.
You have
the source material.
You have the source material. You basically have the script written for you, but somehow you figure out a way to completely and utterly mess it up.
Well, I don't blame, like, everyone keeps on getting angry at Rockstar and Grove Street Games, and they share some blame. But I put this up to the publisher because there is no way. Like, I played those games for 5 hours apiece, but within 10 to 15 minutes, I could tell that there was something off about each of those games. And like I said, I'm not really all that into GTA 3, but I played a lot of GTA Vice City, and I'm going through a playthrough right now of GTA San Andreas. Now, of course, I'm playing the PC version, not the definitive edition version, but I'm very familiar with that third game, and I could tell that this game was severely. There's so much wrong with that game. And I'm pretty sure testers were like, yeah, this is jacked, this is jacked, this is jacked. And I think 2K was like, well, we need this out for this holiday season, so you're going to put it out, and they'll just take it.
Yeah, exactly.
It's going to sell gangbusters nonetheless, and we'll go after the modders. Like, I'm pretty sure someone said, modders have fixed this. Well, we'll just get rid of those, and then people will just buy this anyway. And they weren't expecting the storm of poo poo that they conjured up.
Yeah.
I feel sorry for them.
Yeah.
Because I don't.
I just love how just looking at some more of this footage, how just the textures will just completely disappear. Or whole building structures will completely
Where's that
disappear.
oh, there it is. Okay.
Huh?
Why is that dude just hovering? He's not even moving. He's just...
Yeah.
How?
Somebody...
Did someone get him down from there?
Oh.
Gotta shoot him. I mean, this is sad. I mean, this is just sad.
What the heck's a decimal?
It was COVID, guys. COVID. This is why this game is such in dire straits.
No. No.
Even I can tell you, COVID did not screw this game over.
No. If this game had started development last year, you could say COVID. But this game has been ostensibly in development since 2019.
Yeah.
So
what the heck's?
But like I said, this is like Battlefield 5 took like 4 or 5 years to make.
Yeah.
Okay. And between that, Paradise was also making Star Wars Battlefront 2. So they were working on 2 games. And both Battlefield 5 and Star Wars Battlefront 2 had bugs and stuff. But not to this level. This is embarrassing.
Yeah, this is... Wow. It's like, this is barely out of alpha. This is like some of the stuff I'm seeing. Like,
and I think they knew. I think they knew that this. I think they knew. Like, I think that EA knew that this game was jacked, and I think they put it out anyway because they were like, well, people want to play Battlefront. Yeah, there's nothing I want to play that bad.
I feel
that's broken like this.
I feel sorry for these people who paid $60, $70, $80, probably upwards to $100 for the special edition with the
I don't.
With the stats.
I do not. I don't. If you spent that type of money on a video game, you are stupid.
Yeah.
And I would say that to your face.
I was gonna say, pre-ordering that is stupid.
There you go, sinking beneath the earth.
Beep.
I'm sorry. If you spent, because those special editions are expensive. They're like $200, $300, $400. If you spent that type of money on this, you are stupid.
No.
You need to go put some baby powder in your left or right hand, whatever hand you're dominant in, and slap yourself in the face.
Yeah.
Because you are stupid. You're the type of customer that EA loves.
Oh, yeah.
boy.
Oh, you stupid! Oh,
I
yeah.
never saw such a I never saw such a disaster w- since Reforged. And
I
oh
didn't know you were
god, that was a
stupid like that. No, I mean, I would put Grand Theft Auto uh um definitive edition up there too.
I mean, look. I mean, speaking of Grand Theft Auto, the apology letter that that went around last week, the crocodile tears that Rockstar was crying last week about how they're 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 deeply sorry for the product that they released and never happen again, and we're known for our
Yeah,
quality games. And the whole,
yeah. You used to be known for quality games until this came out.
yeah, it's just like okay. I mean, how about you just fix the game instead of
No, no. This was calculated, man. This was calculated. This was
yeah.
planned because, like I said, a lot of the issues that are wrong with the definitive edition, modders fixed on the PC version years ago. Because remember, they have not re-released, they have not fixed the PC version of. There hasn't been an update for the PC version of these games for 10 years, and the only reason they didn't update was to remove songs that they lost the rights to.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is just some BS. This is some basically this was a cash grab. This was, oh, people will buy it because it's Grand Theft Auto. Darn the consequences, people will buy it.
Yeah, yeah.
And apparently people aren't just going to buy it cuz it's, Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah.
Can't say I blame them. I mean, I wouldn't just buy something cuz it's Grand Theft Auto. That's stupid.
Oh, and going back to Battlefield real quick, it is getting review bombed to hell and back. It is right now on the top worst reviewed Steam games. It is at number 8. So,
wait, number 8.
Think uh
Ha, what game is number 1 just to be put in context?
I think GTA is getting review bombed on Rotten Tomatoes or Metacritic, whatever.
oh yeah, that game got destroyed too.
Can't say I blame them. I mean, like I said, Rockstar knew that game was fundamentally half baked. Actually, Take Two knew that game was half baked, and they put it out anyway. And Microsoft and Sony and Nintendo. I mean, like literally, the worst version of that game is on the Switch, and they certified that game to be on their system, and the worst version is on their system. I mean, how do you okay that? Like, how do you say, yeah, this is okay? Yeah, sure.
The worst reviewed game on Steam is eFootball 2022, but it is at it's at number 10. Uh, Battlefield 2042. So
Can't say I'm surprised.
yeah.
Stop. When will these companies stop just putting games out to meet a deadline? Just stop doing that. Stop. And these third parties, look, if you know something is fundamentally broken, don't just put it out.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
I mean, there is nothing, I guarantee you, there is nothing. What you get out of it, the money that you make is not going to be worth your reputation going down the tubes.
Yeah. I yeah, Man, and it's and they're never gonna learn. You know,
No,
never gonna learn until they go
not unless
complete.
they lose a lot of money doing it.
Yeah, people are still gonna go. I mean, this happens every year or so. There's, every other year there's a major release comes out absolutely busted, um, and then the sequel of it comes out. People buy it. People still buy it. It's like okay, I mean, how many years were people complaining about the hit detection in Call of Duty and
Yeah,
all
and
sorts of
it still
things?
hasn't been fixed.
Yeah, I mean, they still buy it. I mean, Call of Duty sales have dropped down, but it's been how many years? This franchise has been around for almost 15 years, so it's probably longer than that. If you
Yeah.
want to count like Call of Duty, Call of Duty 2, you know,
Well, you got to include all of it. So on the PC, yeah, it's about 20 years.
yeah, 20 years. So
I
yeah,
mean, it's, not bad for a 20-year-old franchise, but it's still like, y'all can't do any better?
yeah, yeah. Well, that's all the topics I have. Is there anything else you guys like to bring up before we wrap things up?
No, I got nothing.
And,
I got no topics. We covered what I was going to talk about, so
all right.
y'all, y'all did it.
Joel, you got anything? She's quiet.
Um, sorry, I was sorry. I thought I muted because because I had a call come up on me.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
one thing real quick. Um, you guys saw what's with YouTube now, right?
Yeah, they
What you
got rid
can't.
of dislike.
Yep.
Yeah, they did that because people got mad about that Nintendo thing, and
It's
plus
more than
other
that.
people, and they
Yeah,
just.
there
I'm like,
there's a lot of factors. Why they
Yeah,
got this?
that's
I don't know why they got rid of it. I just think people just need to grow up and deal with the
look,
fact
not
that
every. Look, sometimes people are going to say something that's stupid, and they need to be reprimanded. I'm sorry,
yeah,
okay?
yeah, we can't sit here and protect everybody's feelings. Like,
And these are companies. Like, I could see if it was someone, okay, I'm on YouTube, I'm a student, I'm a high schooler, and I'm saying something, and it amounts to cyberbullying. But if you're an adult, if you're a company, they make money. So they did something stupid. They need to be told that was stupid, okay?
yeah, yeah, it's just sometimes people aren't gonna like what you're gonna have to say, and I mean, you'd figure I mean, if you're making YouTube videos, especially if you're well
if you
known at
want to
YouTube,
at least know if you're being a hit or a miss, the dislike button is there for a beeping reason.
if you're exposing yourself like this, then you're gonna have to deal with the fact that people are going to be critical of what you say and what you do. Like this is just the nature of this stuff. No need to have your mental health destroyed because a couple thousand people didn't like your video.
Like I said, I know that it can be abused, but I don't think the option is to get rid of it.
Yeah,
I don't, because sometimes they're right. Like I said, like a lot of times when they say this is the most disliked video they've ever come out with, because they say something dumb and they need to be known that people are like, we don't like this. Why did you do this?
yeah,
You know, I mean, the great thing about YouTube is that you can get immediate feedback if something you did, if you're a company and you have a YouTube channel, you can get immediate feedback if something you did was stupid or not,
yep,
or just not a smart move. That is amazing. So why get rid of that?
yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
they didn't get rid of it. They made it private so that only the YouTube channel admins
And
can
the
see it.
and the user that made that, of course.
So you can downvote it, but you can't see how many. You can't see who. You can't see who. You can't see anything. So it's like you could say I didn't like it, but you know,
Yeah.
it's weird. It's weird.
YouTube's been really weird lately about how they've been handling things.
Well, they don't have any. They don't have any plan for what they're doing. They don't have any like. There's no overall plan of what they're doing at YouTube. Because remember when they're like, we're going to make movies, we're going to make our own content.
Well, YouTube doesn't make any money, like for Google, really. So that's why they've been having. I think that's why they've been having some of these purges, because you got to pay for these servers.
Hey man,
running 24/7, so you gotta.
Not my problem.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I get it. I get it.
mean,
it's not my problem. I understand what you're saying.
Let me put it this way, okay? Like, here's what gets me, okay? I see people that defend these huge companies. Why do people want to defend companies that don't give a flying you-know-what about you? They don't care about you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, I like Nintendo. If I drop dead tomorrow, you think Nintendo's going to care about me?
Nope.
Nintendo cares about me as far as I can buy their games.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay? YouTube, Google, they don't care about me. They want my data so that they can sell it. Okay? Like these companies don't care. They don't care about you. They don't care. For companies, the only thing companies care about is making money. Okay?
Yep.
They aren't your friends. They aren't your moms. They aren't your dads. They aren't your uncles. They aren't your cousins. They care about making money. Okay? Mm-hmm. They start losing money, then they care. Okay? Now, people are like, oh man, Bobby Kotick with Activision. I'll tell you right now, Activision starts losing more money, Bobby Kotick is going to be gone by by next month, if not the month after.
Yeah.
He'll be gone.
Yeah. It's gonna be a wait, because the only people that are defending him are the shareholders. I think about it.
No. He lost 50% of their stock value.
Oh, yeah, they ain't happy.
They went from Activision stock went from the highest game company in the New York Stock Exchange to losing 50% of its value. Wow. That's millions of dollars.
Wow.
If you had 1,000 shares of Activision stock that was worth 150, 155, and then it went down to 60 something, you lost
more than half of your revenue over there.
A lot of money. Like a lot of money. And 1,000 shares is not a lot. But that's still a lot of money. And because Bobby Kotick owns a lot of shares himself, he lost a lot of money. Like, look, Bobby Kotick, if he look, the best thing he can do right now is leave. The best thing he can do, just, you know what? It was a good run, 30 years, I'm retiring. Bye. And all of the people in the board, they just like, look, we got to get out of here because this is not gonna. We got to go.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because this is not something that can be fixed overnight. And these grand gesture facade moves that they keep, corporate moves that they keep on making that aren't really going to solve the problem. Like, create a special board that only answers to the board and has no oversight or scrutiny from the workers themselves, who are the ones who have their neck on the line. It's like, yeah, this is some BS right here.
Oh yeah. Yep.
But what do I know? I'm just some guy.
Well, guys, want to give your sign offs and we can call it a night?
Sure. This Joe Riley Moonstar, wishing you all a good evening, and try to remember to hype responsibly.
This is Mr. Red Fox, owner proprietor BS Busters. We have a podcast on my channel every Wednesday and Saturday, 7:30 p.m. to 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. This Wednesday, we're doing part 1 of the game of the year, of our version of Game of the Year, where we only cover, there's only 10 categories in the whole thing. We're only covering 3 of them that night, plus some other news stories, so it'll be pretty fun. Because it's the pre-Thanksgiving cast, so we'll have more positive topics. But yeah, it's gonna be great. Peace.
And this is Kanoshi Abomination.